Hey guys, so we're going to continue on with mini reviews from products I talked about in June 2018. I'm trying to catch up with these mini reviews so that I'm not beyond like 6 months back, but this is like 8, almost 9 months back, and I just want to finish up the month of June. So these mini review videos are videos that I've been doing for a while now, and you guys seem to really like them, and I personally, as a viewer, find them incredibly helpful when I'm watching a beauty YouTuber and they go back. So I'm going to try and give you as much valuable information for each product that I talked about in June. And if you missed my part 1 version, I will try to remember to link it up here. If not, I will put a link to it down in my description box. So I left off basically mid-month in June. I figured that was a good place to kind of stop. So I'm starting with the random haul that I did on June 16th. So the first thing I want to talk about is this La Prairie Essence In Foundation, like cushion foundation. It looks like this. This is the casing here. And this was another interesting cushion foundation because this wasn't actually just a sponge full of stuff. This is like a netting over a mechanism that you have to press down and then the product comes up. So I kind of like that. It was a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more sanitary in my mind, even though this netting gets kind of gross. But in terms of the foundation, this foundation I remember because it's not very humid here in Vegas, but I did bring this with me when I went to New York right after I purchased this, and it held up really well in humidity. So I want to say this is like a very long lasting kind of foundation. I thought it looked really good on the skin like all day. In the drier climate here in Vegas, I do feel like after about 8-10 hours, it does start to look a little bit dry on my skin, and I have very dry sensitive skin. So I want to say this is great for like normal oily skin, or if you live in a really humid environment, I think this is amazing. But for someone who lives in the desert and who has very dry skin, this looks good most of the day. I feel very comfortable wearing this. It's not like I feel concerned that my skin is gonna look dry. It's really just like at the wee hours, like if I've worn it past like dinner and I've had it on since like before breakfast, like one of those days, I remember I thought, this looks a little bit kind of like dry. It was a little bit dry like around my mouth and like down here on my chin. It was a little bit flaky or whatever. But that's it. I do like this foundation. I don't reach for it quite as often as I reach for a lot of my other foundations. So while I like this foundation a lot, I don't think that this is one of my loves. This is like not in my top 5 foundations. So the next thing I talked about is the La Prairie Light Fantastic Brightening Eye Treatment. So this is supposed to be kind of like a concealer, kind of like a brightener, kind of like an eye treatment. It's supposed to kind of do all of these different things. And it's really nice. I really like the texture of it. It is definitely very brightening, at least the shade that I got. It's number 10. And I like that it is refillable and it comes with a refill. So you just twist that off and the pen comes out. So the only thing that I don't like about this is that something happened with like the pumping mechanism. Whenever I click this, and I wonder if it'll do it. Oh, do you see that? The product comes out at the base of the brush. So it's like I can't even use the brush. I have to like swipe the product out onto my hand, and then I just don't even bother using the brush. So it's annoying. I wish the product actually came out like, you know, like where it usually does, like in the middle at the top of the brush. So that is an annoyance to me. But in terms of the product, I think it's great. Here's a swatch of it. It is incredibly brightening. It does feel incredibly smooth. I have to admit though, I don't use a lot of my makeup like the same makeup day after day. I'll try and switch it up because I have so much. So I really can't speak to whether or not the eye treatment, like skincare part of it, actually has helped my under eyes. I really don't know. But in terms of it brightening, in terms of it concealing, in terms of it feeling really great under my eyes, I can definitely vouch for that. I think this is a really nice product. And then I hauled 2 Chanel nail products, the La Base Protective and Smoothing, and also the Top Coat Quick Dry and Shine. The Base Protective and Smoothing is very nice. It is very smoothing. The Top Coat Quick Dry was very quick to dry, and it did look really shiny. It was a nice top coat, but it didn't really last very long. It didn't really help the longevity of my nail polish, which is what I want top coats to do. I haven't used either of these products in a very, very long time, because now I do my own like gel nails at home. I got like the little UV light or whatever, because I really need nail polish to last a long time. Not that my nails are done right now, but I like them to last a long time, and I need them to be like dry when I'm done. So that's why I do a gel polish, and that's why I haven't used these products in a really long time. The next product I actually really enjoy. This is the Guerlain Terracotta Tinted Skincare Jelly, and I have it in the shade medium because these are really, really faint. I thought, I need the light for sure, and the light just didn't really do anything on my skin. So I got the medium, and this is really great for the summertime. So it's basically just this jelly consistency bronzer, and it's just a nice base. I basically just put it on if I want a little bit of color underneath my foundation. That's what it looks like. And you just kind of work it in, and it just gives your skin like a little, like this little hint of color, which I think is wonderful, because in the summertime, I don't generally get a tan. I don't lay out or do anything. And it's nice to have a little bit of color to your face in the warmer months. So I really like this product. I have not used this in a while though. I probably have not used this. Let's see, I got this in June. Probably September, October was the last time I used this. So I'll be happy to whip this back out, but I really like this product. All right, next I talked about the Bobbi Brown Nourishing Lipstick in Beige Gold, and I love this. So you can see I used it quite a bit. Again, this is another product that I probably haven't used in a couple months, but I love this. It feels great on the skin. Let me see if I can get you a swatch here. And I love like gold toned lips, and it has enough pigment there to kind of do something, but it's a little bit on the sheer side, so it's not like this opaque gold. I just think it's a fun, really pretty look for your lips. And maybe if you're tempted to try a little bit of like metallic on your lips, I think this is a good way to go, because it's really not that crazy. So big fan of this Bobbi Brown lipstick. And then I talked about the Bobbi Brown Instant Full Cover Concealer. I've already decluttered that. The concealer was very thick, very tacky, very high coverage, and that just wasn't for me. I think it's great if you have like very dark circles under your eyes. I don't really have that problem. I have like a faint discoloration around my eyes, but I don't have like those really deep dark circles that need like a lot of correcting. This was a great kind of like corrector concealer. It was wonderful. If that's your concern, your under eye concern, I would definitely look into it, but it is on the thicker side, and it is very, very tacky. And then the Brightening Brick Compact in Pink from Bobbi Brown. That was something that they actually, I think, gifted me at the counter. It was like if you spent a certain amount, you could pick out of a couple of things. And I picked that, and it's okay. But I found it a little bit glittery. It was more glittery than I thought when I put it on my skin. So I'm pretty sure I decluttered that. I actually just looked at my collection because I don't remember decluttering it, but I didn't see it. So I think I did declutter that one. I also hauled the Bobbi Brown tweezers. So my absolute, hands down, favorite tweezers in the entire world are these Rubis tweezers from Switzerland. There's the brand name, Rubis. I have a lot of these. I have this one, which is not the Bobbi Brown. My point is, Bobbi Brown tweezers are made by Rubis. So when I found that out, I purchased them immediately. They're sitting in my bathroom right now. So they are like my main tweezers at the moment, and I absolutely love them. So I have those, I have this pair, and then I have at least 2 or 3 of these, but just in like the regular silver chrome metal, and love them. I mean, highly recommend these tweezers. Oh, the Trish McEvoy number 55 Deluxe Blender Brush. This is the brush that I predominantly use to blend in my concealer. It just reminded me of my Giorgio Armani brush it was so old, and I had the original one. It was made out of sable hair, and it was just dead. It was dead. I didn't know how to take care of my brushes, whatever. And then a really wonderful Armani sales associate, I think at Neiman Marcus, she had been working there, she said, for years. She remembered these brushes, and she was like, you know what? Go to Trish McEvoy, get this brush. It's basically the exact same thing, and it is. The Armani brushes are now all synthetic. That's why I needed to try someone else. So these are sable hair. This is the Trish McEvoy brush, and I absolutely love it. I'm thinking about getting another one because this one is just, it's always dirty, and this would actually be great for like other cream products, not just concealer. So I love, 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 love this brush. So that's the Trish McAvoy number 55 brush. And then I got the M Cosmetics True Glosses. Now these were sent to me from them, and I love these lip products. They're beautiful. They were really, really comfortable on the lips. The colors were great. I just loved the formula of them. And I was actually waiting to do my lip declutter to show you guys, but now's as good a time as any. There is mold on there. And I was really disappointed because I really love these products. I mean, that goes to show that there probably aren't a lot of preservatives in here, which is great, but I can't have, what's the shelf life on here? The shelf life on here, it says is 12 months. Yeah, it's 12 months. And I talked about these in June. So it has not been 12 months. And that's not the only color that there's mold. Here's another one. There's a little bit at the base of the applicator there. I don't even know if you guys can see, but it's like, it's looking like grayish green. So anyway, I really, really love these products, but I'm hoping that they'll maybe revamp the formula. I can't be the only one that this has happened to. So I'm a little disappointed in these True Glosses, but the original, before they went bad, the original formula was great. And these colors are so great. Like this color, I think this is truffle. Oh, caramel glaze. And this is truffle haze. These two were my absolute favorites. They're just gorgeous, gorgeous. I love them. So that's all I mentioned in my random haul of June 16. All right, and then on June 19th, I talk about a Chanel new eye makeup haul. And let's see, there are a couple things that I hauled. The Longwear Eyeshadow Primer. So that is this guy right here. And this primer is okay. It's okay. I don't think it does much. I really like the NARS Tinted Smudge Proof eye primer. I think that's the full name. That one has like just a little bit of tack. It does a little bit of correcting. It's just a really great primer. This one, really all it does is smoothing. And so if you need help maybe like blending your eyeshadows, that's great. But I don't think that this one necessarily helps with like longevity, and it won't help like your eyeshadows like pop in color, which is why I like the tinted ones. They just kind of even out, even if you have concealer down, I feel like they do just an additional job of like blanking out your eyelid so your eyeshadows really pop. This one does none of that. All it does is really kind of smooth your eyelids. So I do think this is maybe geared towards women who have like crepey eyelid concerns. I think that this maybe could be helpful in eyeshadow application because it'll really help with blending. But other than that, I don't think that this is a great primer. And then I got some of the eyeshadows. So I got the Ombre Premier Longwear Powder Eyeshadow in Blue Celine. And that is this color. I love this color. I love this eyeshadow formula. I have not used this particular eyeshadow recently at all, but look at how beautiful that is. Let me swatch that on my hand there. It's just such a beautiful metallic blue. And I love it. I love it. I just don't use it very often. In fact, I probably need to remind myself that I have this, but it is a really gorgeous, like steely metallic blue. It's beautiful. And then I got two of the Ombre Premier cream eyeshadows. This one is Ultra Flesh. I'm not the biggest fan of this color on me. It just looks, it just looks too fleshy. Hold on, let me swatch it. There is this color. It just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't do much, but it does just enough to kind of make my eyes look like they're puffy in a way. So not the biggest fan of this color, but you guys know how much I like the Ombre Premier formula. The shadow itself is a great formula. The color, not really for me. And then this Vert Metal color, this green one, I remember I used quite a bit when I first got it, but since then, again, I just haven't used it that much, but it's another beautiful Ombre Premier color. Look at that green. Great for a smoky eye. I also hauled all of the Stilo Ombre at Contours at that point. Those are those big chubby sticks. That appeared in my top 5 favorite Chanel products of all time. I love them. I love the colors that they have. I love the formula. They're a chubby stick, but you can use them as eyeliner very, very easily. They stay put. They're just wonderful. So I love all of those. So the last thing I hauled in that video is a quad from Chanel. And this is, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this. This is number 304. And I really like this quad. I really, really like this color story. I think, you know, a lot of times when I look at Chanel quads, I'm always like, wow, that's kind of like a weird color story. I'm not necessarily sure I would have personally put those 4 colors together, but they somehow always work on your lids. I mean, you definitely get like a look. And I really liked this one. The shadows are really pretty. They're all like a slight satin, you know, nothing too crazy. They don't have like a lot of micro glitters or anything like that in there, but they're not flat mattes. As you can see, there's like just a really pretty sheen to them. So I really enjoy this quad. I don't use it that often. I have to admit, I don't think of it that often. Like some of the Chanel quads that I think of often is like the Clair Obscur, because that's just a great neutral palette. So I think of it and I always reach for it. And so even though I don't think of this often, I do really like this quad. It's very, very pretty. All right. And then on June 21st, I talked about the new Dior Backstage collection. So I tried on the Face and Body foundation. I didn't like it at all. I know that's a lot of people's favorites, but for me with dry skin, I think there was a high alcohol content in there, if I remember correctly. But as soon as I put it on, I almost could feel it kind of, I don't know, like just drying up my skin. Maybe the alcohol just evaporated too quickly and then you get that kind of sensation. And I just didn't like it. My skin looked pretty good. It was actually a pretty good foundation, but I didn't like the way it felt on my skin. So I think I only had a little sample of that and I did not get a full bottle of it. The brow palette, I really enjoy. This was the very first like brow palette I had ever used. So it was definitely a learning experience, but I really enjoy it actually. And I do use it if I feel like my brows are a little bit too sparse, maybe I trim them a little too aggressively, I will go in with this brow palette. It's a great formula. It's creamy enough that it, you know, it stays put. It's not too powdery. The contour palette, I really like. This is the one that has 2 highlighters and 2 contours. So 2 highlighters, 2 contours. I obviously stick to the 2 over here, the 2 light ones. And I think they're lovely. I like the tone of the contour. I like how this highlight is not overly, you know, highlighty. It's not overly metallic, but it really does like a nice like lifting job. I really enjoy this. The Glow face palette, I didn't really like. I felt like it was a little glittery. So I have decluttered that. And then the eyeshadow palette, I have also decluttered. I just never used it. The color story was just, I don't know, it was kind of bland. It was very uninspiring for me. It's like I would pull it out and I would think it looked very pretty. And I liked the quality of the shadows. They were creamy, they blended nicely, but I was just uninspired by that palette. So I decluttered that. And then the Air Flash Radiance Mist. This actually just made an appearance in my favorites because I used this nonstop when I first got it. And then I put it away on my shelf and then, you know, out of sight, out of mind, I forgot about it. And I just pulled it back out and I was reminded how much I love this as a setting spray. I've used it both as a primer spray and a setting spray. It works great at both, but I really love it as a setting spray because it really makes your skin look like you have a filter over it. It just softens everything up, just blurs everything. It's just a fantastic product. So love this, still loving this, love it. All right, and then the last video we'll talk about is the New York City Try-On Haul that I filmed or published on June 28th. And I started with the Guerlain Lure Primer. This is the one with the gold flakes in it. This was sent to me. Yes, this one was sent to me from Guerlain through Octoly, and I really like this primer. I think it does a really nice job just kind of prepping your skin for makeup. I don't think, for me, it doesn't really do much of like a line filling. I don't really have pores. I definitely have lines. It doesn't really do like a blurring or whatever, but it really, I feel like it kind of like plumps up my skin and makes it like ready for makeup. So I really like this. And I know a lot of people prefer the YSL, the Touche Éclat primer that looks very similar to this. It's clear and has the gold flakes. I personally like this one more. I used to have like a deluxe sample of that YSL one, and I found that one to be stickier. So as a primer, if you're looking for like makeup longevity, maybe that one is better, but I like this one personally. I don't really like primers that are too tacky. I don't really have makeup longevity issues. So I really like this primer. And then I talked about the Drunk Elephant Lala Retro Whipped Cream. I had a deluxe sample size of that. I thought it was a really nice, like thick moisturizer, but I never really got into it. I used up that deluxe sample and then kind of just went back to my regular skincare. So never purchased a full size of that. And then the Drunk Elephant De Bronzy Serum. So this is another product much like the Guerlain Jelly Skin Tint. I just haven't used this since like the warmer months. And my only issue with this is it comes in a pump, which is great, but I never felt like I got the right amount of product. Either I would just pump out like a little bit and kind of add it to my primer or whatever I was using just to kind of bronze up my face, and then I wouldn't see it, and then I would try like another pump, and then all of a sudden I was like 5,000 shades too dark. So for me, this is like a little bit tricky to use. I'm also a little bit spastic, so it could just be me, but I do like the color that it gives. I like the tone that it gives. It is like a nice kind of warm bronze without looking too orangey. So other than me personally not being able to get the right amount of the product out, I do like this. Okay, the Smashbox Cali Contour Face Palette. This I had eyed, and then I was like, no, I'm not gonna get it. And then my friend here on YouTube, Stephanie Marie, got it, raved about it, and then kept raving about it. And then it showed up in her favorites, and then she used it again, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna get it. And I do not regret it. This is a beautiful, beautiful face palette. And this has come on many trips with me because this is one of the few face palettes that I have that I feel like I can utilize like all of the powders in here in some way. I generally stuck with this contour and this blush, but this highlight is great. If I wanted a little bit of like a warmer highlight, I would add a touch of this. This probably is the powder that I use the least. And then this was a great like warmer bronze if I wanted it. This was a great cooler contour. So I love this palette. It's great quality, beautiful colors. If you have my skin tone, just works beautifully. So that's the Cali Contour from Smashbox. And then next I talked about the Bare Minerals Gen Nude eyeshadow palettes in Neutral and Latte. I love Bare Minerals eyeshadows. I think I've been singing their praises for over a year now, ever since I got one of their limited edition, larger, like holiday palettes. Just love them. I think that they blend beautifully. I think that they have, or they come out with color stories that are very, very wearable. They're very, very everyday. So this one is Neutral, which you can see has been loved quite a bit. And then here is Latte. This one is a little bit more dramatic, so I haven't reached for this one quite as much as I've reached for Neutral. But these are great palettes to travel with. If I, don't know what kind of look I want to do, I've like thrown this Neutral one into my travel bag and it's worked out great. And I liked these two so much that I went and purchased this copper one. And this one is really pretty. I really like this green down here. So that's the copper one. And I really like these. I have not been disappointed with Bare Minerals eyeshadows. I just think they're really lovely. I think there's no surprises there. When you open up the palette and you look at the color story, that's pretty much what you're gonna get. So big fan of these. All right, and then the next thing I hauled is the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Foil Freestyle Highlighter Duo in Sandcastle and Mint Mojito. I have not used this since I hauled it. Those markings that you see are just from me swatching. I was so excited for this too, especially the Mint Mojito. I thought, gosh, this is so different for me, but I really want to do something with it. And this Sandcastle is totally in my wheelhouse. So I don't really know why I haven't used this, but I'm going to. I'm determined to use this. It's so summery too. And now that spring is approaching, I gotta whip this out. So anyway, I'm just gonna leave that out right there. And then the rest are a bunch of lip products. So the first lip product I talk about is the Sicily Fito Lip Delight in #1, and that is this guy. These are more of a lip treatment than I would say like a lipstick or lip gloss even. And here is the product. So it's very lovely. I like how it feels on the lips. It is, it's very comfortable. It's very, very moisturizing. It's very nourishing. I don't, however, feel like it's super long lasting. And not that I think something like this would be long lasting. I mean, it is very light. It's very creamy, but I feel like my lips soak it up and it could be that I have very dry lips, my lips soak it up and then it feels like I really don't have much left on my lips. So I feel like I have to reapply this quite often, but I do like the way it makes my lips feel. I just wish it was a little bit maybe thicker so that it wasn't like this quick drink for my lips and then kind of gone. So that is the Fito Lip Delight. And then I got 2 YSL lip products. So I got the Volupte Tint in Balm in number 8. And that is this one in the silver packaging. I feel like I can't get all the YSL lip products right because they're all like slightly different, but kind of the same. So this is the Tint and Balm in number 8. And this is the one, it has like the little lips in the middle. I don't know if you can see it. So the outer part is like a bright orange and then the lips are like a fuchsia. So there actually you can see, so that dark streak there would be the lips and then the lighter kind of sheer color is the orange on the outside. So these are really comfortable and these are a lot of fun if you want something a little bit bright going on, but still not too much of a commitment. They're very, very sheer and these feel really, really great on the lips. And what I really enjoy about the YSL Lippies is that the scent of them is more of a fruity scent versus that vanilla chocolate scent. So I'm a big fan of these. And then the Rouge Volupte Shine I got in number 12. I think I actually prefer this formula a little bit more. I feel like it's just a little bit less, I don't know, like oily feeling than this. I just like how this goes on a little bit more. I like how it feels a little bit more. And I feel like the pigment it's just a little bit more even than this. You can probably see how streaky that is. So I really like these Volupte Shines, and this one is number 12. And then just kind of out of curiosity, I got this Givenchy Le Rouge liquid in Orange Plumetis, I think is how it's pronounced. This is the one that has this interesting like big sponge tip applicator, and then I remember the gondola display of these products, of these lip products at Sephora. It had like these clear instructions on how to use these and how you should like twist like 1/4 twist at a time so that you didn't get too much product up there. And it really, well, one, it intrigued me, but I was also like a little bit scared as to like what was going to happen. So let me just give you a swatch of these. I'm just not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of this whole applicator. So there's stuff comes out of the middle. I think these products are still around too. This was not limited edition. And then you are supposed to like blend it in with the sponge. And then it kind of turns into this, I don't know, like a matte kind of lipstick. I don't know. I wasn't a fan of this dispenser. I wasn't a fan of this formula. It was kind of messy, and maybe it was my fault for getting such a bright color. Maybe I should have gone with a nude, but it didn't really work out for me. So those are the Givenchy Le Rouge liquids. And then last but not least is a lip product that I love. These are the Armani Lip Maestros. I have 2 of them. I have color 200 and 202. And so when I was at Sephora in New York, I decided to get 508. And this is more of like, it has like a satin sheen and it's a little bit more pinky than the other 2 that I have. The other 2 that I have are a little bit more brown, but this one is just so beautiful. And this Lip Maestro formula is so amazing. It's so comfortable on the lips. It has such a unique, like velvety kind of finish, and it's moussey. It's such a great lip product. I absolutely love these. So that's the Armani Lip Maestro in 508. And that is it for my mini reviews for June. This was part 2. I'm all done with June. Hopefully I'll be able to move on to July fairly quickly. And I hope you find these videos helpful. I will try to link to everything down below in my description box. I think most of these products, surprisingly, are not limited edition. Leave me any questions down below in the comment section. I will try and get to them. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave. I'll see you in my next video.